With the diet changes that you made, after the retreat where you transitioned to a plant-based lifestyle and you did no more meat, no more sugar, how do you support people in that journey of moving to more live foods from dead foods? Because I feel like if people aren't so sick where they have to do it, like how can they motivate themselves to do that?
Well, see, because like almost 30, they don't normally get it. This is something I would tell my daughter when her friends were in like teenagers in the early 20s. They would laugh at me when I would make them a green juice. And I said, this is what you could do for your men so you don't have pain. And they would think that I was a joke. And I would laugh with them. I said, you know what? I'll see you when you're in the 30s. You're going to have some issues. I already know there's a clock that you're not aware of. And things are going to start showing up. So just remember this moment. And I didn't give him a lecture about it. I just told my daughter one time, I said, I'll see them in their 30s. And that's what's happening right now. Because some of them from back then are working on my team right now, including my daughter. And the things that I told them that could happen, that they could prevent, they didn't really see it because they didn't feel the pain or the suffering. I just happened to get my pain and suffering early on. So I woke up really quick. And so these other parts of you, though, we're body, mind, and spirit. So maybe they want to actually live out their purpose. And that could motivate them. So if you clean up, you get very in tune. And you start actually being who you really are, as opposed to who you were told you were to be. And that's exciting. So they look at me and said, Jennifer, you're doing everything you want to do. Well, you can too. And you can start young. You don't have to wait until you're 40, 50, 60, or 70 to wake up, and then you're so tired by that time, you don't want to do it then. Start now. And so you do a fast, or you do a cleanse, or you eat more live foods, or you take a healing bath, and you do your prayers, and you journal as a lifestyle. Then you start to actually pick up the message. There's a little book that came that is amazing to me because this book is called Impeccable Listening. It took me 12 weeks to write it. Sacred Woman took me 7 years to write. And all my books take me a long time. But why that book? I realized that basically was my autobiography. I had to learn to listen impeccably. And the moments that I did not listen, that's when I suffered. And the moments that I did listen, what is it? I asked a question. I asked a question at 16, 17. What do I do to heal this asthma? I heard it. Bam. Asked, listened, then I acted. The grapefruits, the lemons, the water, the rosehip tea. And I opened up and my life shifted. So in writing this book, I was asking, and everybody can ask themselves now, for me it was, there's so much suffering in the world. What can we do to end world suffering? That was my question a year and a half ago. People were dying everywhere, all around us, family, friends. They didn't know what to do. There's a lot of fear in the atmosphere, bad news every day. And I said, how can we end world suffering? And the question came immediately. I was ready to sit in a circle with three of us. One was Laura London, and came through impeccable listening. Tell them impeccable listening will end the suffering. Because I know that we know everything right now, but we don't know that we know. And taking time to relax, to breathe, take a deep breath, take some lime water, and now ask the question. Get up early so you can get in tune, and then have the courage to listen, hear it, even if you don't want to do it, just hear it. And that is your road to freedom, your liberation. And then when you act, you get good at like piano lessons. Keep, in the beginning, C, D, E, F, and then, you get good at it, listening. You get good at asking. You get good at being obedient. So you look a little peculiar to people in the beginning because you are living your life and you're constantly asking and you're constantly listening. And then you move. And sometimes people think around, young people around me, give an example. I told them one day, I said, this was when Kazik was coming on board, my right hand came on board. And I said, listen, I had a vision. This is what's going to happen. I was talking about Sacred Woman, how that's going to shift now. And we'd always have like 30, 40, or 50 women. But I knew there was going to be a lot of women coming in. So I said, okay. I started giving some of the vision that I was getting in the download. And it was, deer in headlights. And you talk to 11 people on the staff. And no one's getting it. And only person that got was Queen Esther, my right hand. I know you all.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, they don't hear it. So you know what I did? I closed the door. Spirit said, just close the door. Let them go. They'll figure it out. They'll follow me. I closed the door. I went and started working on my paperwork, calling people up. And then Kaz got me to social media. And I jumped on, so what was it?
Instagram Live.
Instagram Live. Thank you.
Yes.
I finished yes. I jumped on. And I got a relationship. I said, I connected. I said, oh, right, this is what we're about to do. This is how we're going to do it. I was excited. This is a thrill. And then Kazi said, well, how are you going to hold all these people in the house? It's the Browns in the house. 15 people can be in a room, but not, I said, okay, we're up to 15 or whatever. Okay, get back to me tomorrow. I was going into impeccable listening. I said, I'll get back to you tomorrow. He don't even understand what I'm talking about. I go to sleep. I wake up, take a breath. Okay, Most High talk. I'm listening. What I have to do? Where's it going to be? It came. Oh, wait a minute. There's a spot in Brooklyn on Fulton Street. And I called the woman and I said, I think I might have 100 women. I'm not sure, 50 women. She said, okay, can I use your space? She said, oh, Queen, you've done so much for the community. Sure, you can use my space. It's going to be minimal. I said, see there, Most High, thank you. And I told her, I said, Kazi, I found a spot. I didn't even go look at the spot, but I was having a faith walk moment. When I looked at the spot, it had a piano. It was a jazz place where people would come in the community. It was perfect and hold 120 to 30 women. And that's where it was. So you don't even have to know all the details.
Yeah.
All you have to do is trust. When you ask, you tune in because you're a fine instrument. Tune yourself up. You hear, you listen, and you follow instructions. And that's how I'm living. And that's why this book, all the books took all these years. That was the only book that took, because I was just going back I call it going into like a mapping. Go back and just see when you did it, when life worked perfectly in full alignment. And when it didn't, and you second guessed yourself, and I saw that I went under. It's just, that's the life. And so for me, those who in their 20s, all that long talk, in their 30s, you're not doing it because you have high blood pressure. You're not going to have it until you're 35 years old. You have to put years into getting sick. You may not get fibroids are coming early now.
Yeah.
To women in their 30s. What you do as a teenager is showing up in your 20s. What you do in your 20s is showing up in your 30s. So don't wait till you get sick. And what I did, I talked to teenagers yesterday, Sacred Teens. We have a Sacred Teen group. And I asked them a question because they got connected because they don't have these issues. They have menstrual issues now, though. And I said, you know what? Your family is your blood, it's your DNA. Whatever's happening in your family, you're already set up for it. Now, you can shift your DNA. You could take it to higher ground. But just share with me, with our circle, what's in your family. They started running the list. High blood pressure, diabetes, a heart condition, and everyone, all 16 other women, young girls, 13 to 16, 5 to 7 health issues in their family. The mothers are sitting with them on some of the occasions. So the mothers would say, also we have this. And then we have also the asthma in our family. So, okay, so the way if you're living a toxic lifestyle now, it's going to be fully activated by the time you're 30. And then it then magnifies by the time you're 40 and 50. It just gets worse. And you may start with one issue because you didn't address it, you didn't detox, you didn't cleanse, you didn't have a holistic lifestyle. This is where you're going. So that was given to me right at the moment of teaching. It wasn't like I had this curriculum laid out and all this wisdom. It was like, okay, it's coming through. How do I connect sacred women to these teens? And they said, oh my gosh, I need to change my lifestyle. Oh, this is what my grandfather, this is what I'm with my aunt. Yeah, it's in the DNA. 7 generations back, all of that, to 7 generations forward. So now you're second generation because it's your mom and your father. And now you're coming in second generation. So you're on the upswing. But you have to change now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Morning Microdose by Almost 30.
We hope you enjoyed waking up.
As always, we encourage you to take what resonates and leave the rest. If you enjoyed this trip, tune into the full episode on the Almost 30 podcast. All episode information can be found in the show notes.
Make sure to subscribe, and if this becomes a part of your morning routine, be sure to share it with a friend. We have new inspiring doses Monday through Friday. Follow us on Instagram at Morning Microdose, and follow Almost 30 at Almost 30 Podcast.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the vortex.